Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Helmets of the World. I am Mike B, and today I've got another one that I've been hunting for years and haven't been able to find one for the right price or in my size or in this condition, the French model 1926 helmet. So, if you haven't seen my video on the M1915 Adrian helmet, the original gangster of modern day combat helmets, go check that out in the playlist. And you'll be able to kind of see the difference and understand what I'm talking about in comparison to that in this video if you go watch that. Now, in 1926, France realized that they needed to improve their helmets as other countries were improving their designs. And they came out with a helmet that was a more simple design consisting of only two pieces versus the original four pieces on the M15. The two pieces consisting of the shell and the separate comb, which was riveted in. And the helmet was designed in 1926, but it really wasn't used until starting in about 1930. And the difference in the steel was also apparent. This one's a little bit heavier because it's made out of 0.9 millimeter manganese steel instead of the 0.7 millimeter that the M15 was. So structurally, it's a little bit stronger and the material is a little bit thicker, and it's just, it retains the original Adrian kind of profile and shape, but it still is improved a little bit. And we'll get to the liner system in a second. Just want to show you the outside. Now you see the front, the infantry disc right there. The old World War I insignia of it would just be the bomb, the flaming bomb with the RF in it, were used up until about 1937 on these helmets. And then they went to this more simplified disc system, which changed the insignia a little bit, but they still had the artillery, engineers, infantry, and all that stuff on their colonial troops to kind of just simplify the badges. And, you know, I don't know the exact reasoning behind it, but they did that. Excuse me. So this one, I don't know if this has been refinished. The chin strap and liner appear to be original, which we'll take a look at in a second. But if it's not refinished, it's in fantastic condition, and it's in my size, melon size. It actually fits. So you can see here the comb is still maintained. You got its comb / air vent right there. And this is going to be riveted on. And you've got these little rivets here. So the way to tell in pictures the difference between a World War I, a 1915 Adrian helmet, and an M26 is a lack of the bead right here. And these rivets are going to be on all four sides of the helmet. So that's for the chin strap, and they're also for the liner system, which we'll, again, look at in a little bit. So you can see the profile. It seems to be about the same size as the M15 Adrian, just in one piece versus the four pieces that the original Adrian was made out of. So now we'll finally take a look at the liner. I've been saying that. So the liner was an improved system. It was a little bit more replaceable quickly, and it was a little bit more comfortable and sturdy than the original M15. So you can see the liner is held in with those rivets, and this is the chin strap bail as well. You got four shapes, and it's got these little paddle things right here that the liner just kind of clips onto. And you've got padding and all that stuff. So it actually gives you a space in between the helmet and the shell that the original Adrian helmet didn't. Therefore, they had to put aluminum spacers in it. Again, that video shows. And the reason I think this is refinished is because the inside of this is black, and I haven't seen other ones that are this color. So whoever did refinish it did a great job. They did the textured olive drab paint, which is what the original finish was. Some of them were lighter green and whatever. And then this chin strap is very in good shape, but it is original. You can tell it's pretty dry. So that is the difference. Some of these had black leather like this, and some of them had natural leather like the chin strap liners. So it really varies. These were used all the way up through past the Second World War by French troops and colonial troops. And the Belgians use these, a variant of that. A lot of people use the M1926 design. These are getting to be extremely hard to find and are very expensive if you can find them complete like this. This was an auction win recently. And it's, I'm trying to get you some light here. The light's going down. Actually, it's kind of the afternoon. But yeah, this is a great example of these helmets. And although it wasn't necessarily the best design of the Second World War, it still kept on with the iconic design of the original M15 Adrian helmet, which was, like I said, the original gangster, the first widely issued modern combat helmet that we think of when we think of these things. So, with that being said, it's a really cool addition to my collection. It rounds out kind of more of the major players in World War II. The Free French troops actually wore these in combat, wearing U.S. uniforms with these helmets in World War II. So that's pretty interesting how, you've got World War One, you've got U.S. troops going over there early on before most American troops went over to France. And they were wearing American uniforms with French equipment. And then in World War II, it kind of flip-flopped, and French soldiers were wearing American uniforms and American stuff with a couple of French things like their helmet. So I found that very interesting. It's a kind of a little note there. But yeah, there's nothing really more to say about this. This thing was used all the way up until 1951 and even past that with the introduction of the 1951. So this replaced the M15 and was replaced by the 1951 steel helmet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Been wanting to get one of these for a long time, but again, they're really getting hard to find. And a lot of times these are passed off as World War I helmets. If you look at a lot of old war movies like, what's one? Young Indiana Jones, it's a series more or less. They're supposed to be in World War I, but they're actually wearing M26 helmets, most of them. So yeah, the bead, and then you can see right here, there's no split visor. So it's just, yeah, one piece versus the four-piece design, which on the M15, the visor's two parts. You got the shell and the comb, so it's four pieces, whereas this is two. So simple, a little bit stronger, a little bit heavier, and a little bit better made. Well, I think that wraps it up. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not a total expert, but I'll try to answer your question if I can. That should have kind of summed up everything, though, that you need to know, just the basic knowledge. And if you enjoyed this video and want to support my work and enable me to keep making really cool content like this, you can do so in a couple different ways. The first way is to become a Patreon supporter, the link to which is in the description. The other way is to become a channel member on YouTube here by hitting the join button right below this video. Either method of support helps me out greatly and allows me to create content I wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to make simply funding out of pocket. Ballistic tests, range videos, and other videos using historic artifacts like this one in an educational manner cost a lot of money to produce and acquire the items, but with crowdfunding, it becomes very possible to make very neat and educational content. $5 a month or more on either platform gets you access to my Discord server, which is very fun and interactive. I've learned a lot on there, and there are quite a few people already on there, which is a great thing. If you can't support the channel financially, I totally get that, and that's not a problem. You can still support my work by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing if you haven't already, and the best way to support the channel is to share out this video and other videos if you think people would be able to learn from them and find it interesting. Now that we've got that out of the way and done, again, I appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Helmets of the World.